Let's see. Got the classic Zoom.
Live.
Looks like we're going live here. Folks, welcome to Taco Tuesday. I think this is part quattro. So we're past the trilogy at this point. But guys, thanks for tuning in. We have a special guest today. It's Christian Brindle and I returning again with more tacos to talk about it with special guest Rebecca Davis. Rebecca, welcome to Taco Tuesday.
I can't wait. Taco Tuesday is favorite day of the week, right?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
right.
Absolutely. We were just
I appreciate it. You guys were so much fun last week. I'm happy to let crash.
crashing the taco
Is it
bar.
cra- well, instead of crashing it in the comment section, she's crashing it on the video this time around.
Is
I
it
really
gonna be
wanna-
more or less annoying this way, though?
The good news is I can focus more on my tacos because we have three people. I don't have to, like, when Christian and I were just going back and forth, I have to like strategically take my bites, but now I can just stuff my face while you and Rebecca talk.
Yeah, more or less. So I today I have some colorful tacos that I've been meaning to expose to the world, if you will, and this time I know last
Colorful?
week Glenn kind of.
Did you say colorful?
They're colorful. They are colorful.
Color like a rainbow?
Not quite that colorful, but last week I know Glenn kind of got on me for not buying my staff tacos, so I bought the entire office tacos today.
Oh, very
The
nice.
hero we all need, Christian Brindle. That's awesome.
But
What did you do
they
that was here
changed
today?
us.
Got tacos.
What kind of tacos?
Man,
With the Taco
We have a
Bell?
Doritos Locos taco today. See, it's orange. Orange is a color.
Why aren't we sponsored yet? This is brought to you by The Bell, the Taco Bell. Rebecca, I heard you also had tacos. Is this true? Here we go.
One from lunch for today.
Is that Taco Bell as well? Wow.
Taco Bell
Everybody
is
went to
free.
Taco Bell.
DoorDash.
Yep.
Oh
Same.
man.
Literally just got mine a second ago. Been grinding today.
So I send my assistant out to get the tacos. I don't even do the DoorDash. But last week, she was forced to go to Del Taco because they're tearing down the Taco Bell near our office here. They're like remaking it and everything like that. And she came back with Del Taco. I was like, how could you? And
Wait,
she's
we
like,
need to backtrack. You have a Del Taco?
we have a Del Taco.
Oh?
I have not seen Del Taco since I lived in California 20 years ago.
Oh.
Really? There's no Del Taco there?
No Del Tacos here.
Where are you, by the way? I know you're in my computer, Rebecca, but where are you physically in the world? I'm trying to figure.
Small space in the back of your head. I am in Texas. I'm about
Forbidden land.
hour and a half, 2 hours southwest of the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport,
Okay.
between Dallas and Abilene, and then a little south. A little town
Nice.
called Stephenville.
So my
And they're
question,
literally known as rodeo capital of the world.
Okay.
my question is, are you close enough to Tony Merwin and Scotty O'Brien that you guys can all just get together and have like wild parties and I don't even know about it?
Yes, we could technically.
But why don't you?
Tony, if you end up watching this, I just want you to know I'm still mad at you for not doing a poker tournament like you promised me at the start of the pandemic. By the end of the pandemic's going to be over and he still will have not fulfilled this promise. I know it. Tony, that's my only warning to you, good sir. I really want to jump into what we were talking about before. Are we? Can't we?
All right, so I'm not gonna say.
I love how scared you are. I love how scared you felt. It's hilarious.
well, you know, the thing is, you know, this whole it was being recorded what I was saying before, so I probably better tread lightly. But
yes, I can
basically,
blackmail you.
I've posted it in comment sections and tons of threads before, so most people that follow the group world probably know what I'm talking about. But so it was in 2017. I was living in Florida, in Tampa, and there's a very large carrier out there. They happen to be green. And I'm not going to say anything more than that. They have
You don't have to
tacky-
say their name.
They have tacky commercials, and I mean, that's about it. But anyway, so I go into one of the I'll go in one of the offices, because they have offices set up all over Florida. They're a really big presence there. And there's some captive agents. There's multiple captive agents, actually, all have their own desks. And I was invited in because the broker manager wanted to meet me, wanted to talk with me about the products, blah blah blah. So the captive agents are all sitting there, and they have stacks. I'm talking like you could take 2 phone books and put them on top of each other, and that's how big this stack would probably be, of scope of appointments. And they were filled out scope of appointments that brokers like all of us have probably sent in, maybe faxed in or something like that over the years. And it looked to me like, from what I was able to gather, like I was just kind of like observing and passing, but they were just going through this stack of scope of appointments and cold calling them. Probably PDP, sales scope of appointments, and they're going through and trying to move them to Medicare Advantage sales, which, as Rebecca pointed out accurately, that's not compliant.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, and how old? My first thought is like, how old are those too? How old are those scopes of appointment?
I'm not sure.
It's not permission to contact. That's not what a scope of appointment is, right?
Well, we know they have up to 10 years in storage, so.
And again, this isn't a scope of appointment. This isn't my wheelhouse by any means. So, I mean, is there language on the scope that says you have 10 years to contact?
No, you just have to store them for 10 years.
Yeah, you just have to keep them on file for 10 years in case you ever get audited. That's basically...
That's ridiculous. That's longer than your financial records. Your financial records are 7.
So we have, like, in our offices here, we have, file cabinets basically with scopes full of them, because we have to keep them. We can't get rid of them. We have to hang on to them. And it's ridiculous. But anyway, this carrier, and I know so many people that have had experience with this carrier reaching out to their clients, trying to move them, to Medicare Advantage sales. I mean, they're notorious about doing it. So what I'm saying probably isn't that far-fetched, but it's probably just a little shocking to know that, I don't know if they're still doing this today, I can't say, but at least back then, they were using the scopes to call people, which is ridiculous to me. It blew my mind.
Well, why wouldn't they, in theory, still be doing it today unless they got called out on it?
They could have gotten called out. I don't know. I can't be the only agent that walked through there and saw that.
No way.
I mean, it was just so free and open, they're free to be uncompliant.
I'm trying to remember how I don't even remember how I stumbled across this carrier. So this is a different carrier than you guys were just talking about. Still a very big carrier, not as big as the one you guys were talking about, but still a very well-known carrier that many, many brokers sell. I want to say it was like 2 or 3 years ago. So this wasn't recent, but they were doing direct mail for their PDP. And it was really just like a basic open enrollment direct mail, hey, open enrollment's coming up. Make sure you take care of your PDP plan. Make sure that everything's still good for you, blah, blah, blah. Well, there was it's all carrier branded. There's no broker message. There's no agency message. It looks like it's coming directly from the insurance carrier. Well, the 800 number that was on there was going directly to one of their top agencies. So, and again, so to kind of reiterate here, so the insurance carrier was taking all of the clients that they had for their Medicare Advantage or MedSup. They were blasting them with direct mail about PDP, and then they were funneling all of those inbound calls to an agency who was doing both. So, and I actually posted about it publicly, and I dropped the name of the carrier on the insurance forums as soon as I found out, because I'm like, this is insane. I'm like, how I would be livid if I was losing clients because an insurance carrier was marketing to my clients and then funneling it to another agency. And it was kind of like, there was some blowback, like some people were mad about it. I think the carrier did find out that I posted about it, but I'm on the marketing side of the business. So I I wouldn't say untouchable, but I wanted it to get out there. I'm like, this is crazy. So yeah, I mean, this just goes to show, I think this is happening a lot, probably every carrier, right? I mean, to some degree, I don't know.
Without knowing 100% for sure, I'd be willing to bet there's something. I really don't want to say this, but
Christian Brindle just got terminated. It's going to be in the news. Christian Brindle just got terminated from all major carriers because of a Taco Tuesday video.
And he was baited into it by Glenn Shelton. And
I got first dibs on your book.
Roll it, baby. Roll it.
So, but I'd be willing to bet that a lot of carriers, that's politically correct, a lot of carriers are doing something behind the scenes like that is just slimy, not compliant.
Let's play devil's advocate though, right? The argument that they could be making is, they want to take care of their book of business, right? They could be saying, hey, listen, if your client chooses to do business with someone else, that's not on us. We're just making sure that all of our beneficiaries that are on our book are being serviced. And we're trying to do, it's our fiduciary duty as an insurance carrier to take care of all these clients. So, I don't know. I personally, as a broker myself, I would be furious, but I don't know. Maybe there is an argument to be made there.
I think that's exactly what they would say. Like if you ever, like the local Humana team here in Utah years ago, I'm not saying anything bad. You guys are trying to get me in trouble. That's what you're trying to do. So the local Humana team here a couple years ago, before I was even in the business, one of the broker managers took a couple of agents out, captive agents out training, and they went out and tried to roll some of my dad's clients.
Oh boy.
And so this is nothing new. This kind of stuff has been going on for a while,
Right.
And they're probably making the argument that, they're more profitable with Medicare Advantage. I think we can all agree with that.
Right.
They make more money. They probably think that they're going to have a higher retention rate with Medicare Advantage, blah, 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 whatever the case might be. So I'm sure they have some kind of argument to be had. Rebecca, I'm going to shift gears on the topic here, though.
Please do.
Where did you
contracts?
Yeah, before I lose my contract. Just so you know, guys, I'm a fan. I'm a fan first. Got a back scratcher. I got whatever you want to know.
Is that a plain T-shirt? You usually have a branded tee on too.
I know. Everything's dirty.
Tee.
That's his taco eating shirt. That way
that's a disaster shirt. Yeah, that's a disaster waiting to happen. This is for sauces, red sauces specifically. But no, go ahead. Sorry, Christian.
Well, I knew Taco Tuesday was coming, and so I didn't want to wear one of my carrier tees and then never be able to wear it again after Taco Tuesday. But Rebecca, let's talk about this COVID extension.
Okay.
Yeah, that was news.
Where did you first see that?
It was emailed to me by a carrier.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I would like to backtrack before we even talk about that. I kind of saw this kind of, it was like in my sphere, but I didn't dive into it. What happened when they rolled out the last COVID special enrollment? Wasn't there like they had to retract it, and then CMS came out and was like, okay, now it's official? Because that's, as soon as I saw what you posted today, Rebecca, I was like, is this like the same thing over again? I'm like, is this a carrier saying it? Did CMS come out and say anything yet? I'm like, I haven't heard anything.
I mean, all kidding aside, it could be. I've seen stranger things this year. I mean, if you read the language, it even says you can switch a PD plan this time. That kind of threw up some red flags, because if you actually read it there, it says MA, MAPD, and PDP switchers. So I have a feeling it's like, I mean, it came from a carrier out in California, where California, they are truly back on lockdown. So they may be hearing about it firsthand because it's so much worse out there. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. There could be a retraction, there could be an adjustment, but I mean, I'm not surprised with what's going on. I mean, the world
Right.
is literally being shut back down again. And, it could tie into some, it may go back to, well, if you haven't used your OEP, then you can still use it. And maybe that's the only way you can still use it. I mean, there's not a lot of clarification, honestly, in that memo that was sent out, just the fact that they were extending it indefinitely for the year, it looked like.
I mean, this is like a year long. I mean, it's wild to see Medicare Advantage go from like this forbidden thing where it was like, you have to sell it in person. If you're selling it over the phone, you have to be in a certain call center, open enrollment only. And now, like, after everything that's happened, it's like, sell Medicare Advantage anytime you want. Like, just take care of everybody. Like,
well, maybe after all this, I'll just say, screw it. It's not that big of a deal. Let's just open it up.
I strongly believe that's coming. If I was a betting man. What do you think, Christian?
Yeah.
Or serious chronics, if you got diabetes, a heart condition, arthritis, COPD, ERSD, sickle cell anemia, cancer, cross-eyed, cataracts. If you have any of these
Cross-eyed,
you can get a chronic plan year round.
I mean, I definitely think so. I mean, the restrictions have been lowered dramatically, but I think it was leading up to that anyway. Even before COVID, I think COVID probably just sped up the process because like, if you look at like when I first came into the business, Rebecca, this is probably the way it was for you too. When I first came into the business with Medicare Advantage anyway, I mean, the scopes were supposed to be signed and documented 48 hours before the appointment.
Unless you had a valid reason.
Yep.
Yeah. Unless you had a valid reason, unless it was like a walk-in or something like that. But like, I mean, we talk to a new broker and you'd be like, all right, so you have to get this form filled out 48 hours ahead of time. Like if it's a lead or like, if it's a cold prospect relatively, you've never met them before. And you're like, okay, by the way, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, you never met me before. We've talked on the phone once or twice. I need you to sign this form and get it back to me before I come. People don't want to sign anything.
Yep.
And so
weirder to ask somebody to sign a form 2 days before the appointment. Now when you say, oh, can you sign this before I can go into the plan? To me, it's still kind of strange, but not near as weird as I'm going to mail you this form. You mail it back and a week later, then I can come see you.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. So like, I think we've seen a
sense.
trend. Yeah. I think we've seen a trend of them kind of taking a step back. And I think a lot of that has to do with like agent advocate groups, like National Association of Health Insurance, underwriters. I think they've done a lot of good with that kind of stuff. But I think COVID probably just sped up the process, about the, loosening the screws, if you will.
Well, in some
Red
carriers
tape.
now, you don't even have to send in a scope. You have to get one for your own records, but you don't even have to tell them that you did.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, it's insane, but like, I don't know. I mean, when I'm training a new agent and they're like, what do I do about scope of appointments? I'm like, what's that? I'm just kidding. I mean,
it's like, whoa, we're really going for it today. Like Christian Brindle, guys. No scopes. We're throwing carriers under the bus. Let's go.
Always get scopes. Always get your scopes.
What's a
Do
scope?
it correctly. Document them. Keep them for 10 years. You didn't hear anything of other than that from me.
I've heard a little rumor going around. It's been kind of rumor for a couple months that they're
Taco Tuesday
possibly going to down the road take the scope of appointment away if you're face to face. So only got to have one if you're over the phone. Which makes sense. Nobody's going to come sit in your office if they really don't want to talk to you.
You kidnap them. Rebecca's driving down the street in a pickup truck and she's throwing seniors into the back of it. And she's like, you're coming with me to my office and we're going to talk.
I need to get a bigger van.
She's smuggling people across the border to sell them Medicare. She's getting seniors in Mexico, smuggling them in just to write their plans. Come on to you, Rebecca.
Is that possible? I'm not that far from the border.
Of course. So, Rebecca, I have not gotten your take yet on the different
concepts. Scotty's watching.
I don't think we've gotten your take yet on conferences being rescheduled. I know me and Glenn talked about that quite a bit last week. What is your take? Are you still going to be going to 8%? And
It's in your backyard.
Yeah, I'll be going because it's in my backyard. I mean, I don't know if it was in Vegas. Well, if it was in Vegas, I'd probably still go too.
For different reasons.
But if it's in Utah, let's say. No, being like 2 days before open enrollment starts, if I'd make the trip. I mean, as much harassment as I gave you about not coming, I also did understand why you were struggling with that. I mean, I think it's a big bummer. I think a lot of the things you can pick up at these conferences, especially for the younger, newer agents, they won't have time to implement, to change a strategy idea or something that they're, oh, that's a great idea. I want to use that for open enrollment. Well, in July you could, but 2 days literally before it starts or a week before it starts, you're not going to be able to really utilize any of that stuff. To me, that's kind of the biggest disappointment of it, especially for newer agents that are really trying to get something out of it to boost their AEP game. They won't have time to implement it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth in that. I mean, and then of course, a couple of days ago, it was the announcement was made. I kind of knew a few days before that, but the Gurus conference being pushed back to February.
Yeah.
That's a little disappointing.
That one too. I decided to go to that one when 8% got in the limbo, and then that one got pushed back.
Yeah. It's too bad. And I think, like you said, there was the first 8% conference was like in October. Wasn't it literally like the start of AEP? The first one? Or the second one? I can't remember. I thought it was October though, because I remember really considering going and then I didn't go. So I think scheduling is a huge part of again, if your entire annual income is being done during, 2 months out of the year, you're probably not going to want to have a lot of change around that time. So I think scheduling is huge, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that events had to get rescheduled, but probably for the better, Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a question that I have for you, Glenn, what is your opinion on agents that are, basically getting everything ready for events right now for AEP? I think it's crazy.
I
know you're big on events, but I'm just curious. I'm just curious on the dialogue on that.
No, it's interesting that you bring that up because literally I had a conversation with an agent yesterday, and he was talking about, I guess it wasn't, I think it was Monday. Yeah, it was yesterday. So he was talking about his plan coming up for marketing, and he was talking about seminars. And I'm just sitting there listening to him talk about some of his seminar prep. And I'm like, you're really going to double down on seminars right now? And I know we've mentioned this before, every area is a little different. You might be in an area that's maybe it's not as affected right now, but regardless, I just feel like if you're shelling out money up front, which, if you're paying for the venue, some of these events are catered, in my background, when I was selling life insurance, some of these seminars that people would set up would cost $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, especially if you're doing dinner for like 100 people at a venue. I mean, it can get really expensive. I know some people, have ways of doing it really cheap, which is awesome. I don't know why you would be planning on doing any type of seminar marketing or seminar selling, unless it was under just really specific circumstances. I don't know. I just think it's crazy to me personally, both from the possibility of it being dangerous, but then also just the fact that these seniors, I think most seniors are going to have a mindset that they're not going to want to do face-to-face interaction. What you just said, how COVID sped things up. I think on the telesales side of the business, that's kind of the same way. People were already trending towards wanting to do business over the phone. They didn't want to do face-to-face meetings. They didn't want to have to go somewhere. Some people like to still go sit in an office and talk to their broker. But if anything, I think regardless of what happens from here, even if COVID is cured by Christmas, I just think seniors are going to want to do business over the phone. So yeah, I mean, it's a great question. And I would question if anyone's listening to this live or the replay and you're about to spend money, and I'm not saying spend money with me, although you're welcome to, just be cautious of spending money that, could essentially go nowhere. That would be my concern.
I guess I better cancel all my events then.
Cancel them. Give me the numbers. I'll do it for you, Rebecca. I'll hold your hand while we'll cancel it all together. It'll be painless.
I mean, I agree to some degree, but you're always gonna have that group of seniors that absolutely want to see you in person. They want to make sure you're a real person and not some guy over in the Southeast Asia trying to put them on something. And as the longer we go, the more tired people get about lock-in. I mean, I think if you do a seminar, you just got to be really smart about it. Keep your tables separated, keep your couples or your singles together, and, space people around. Get a bigger venue than you might have normally gotten in the past so you can keep that space between people. You just got to do it smart. And maybe you don't have them, as many. Maybe you just have like one a week in a big place, but you do it all day long or something. And kind of take the risk out to where they kind of come and go.
Outdoors? I think outdoors would be awesome.
Yeah, I think that'd be safer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing, that we recently did is we got these new masks, and they're the K195 masks.
For our fan base, Christian, can you demonstrate how those are worn?
Yes.
Correctly.
It would be my pleasure. And so these K90, these KN95 masks.
You literally look like a serial killer with that mask.
I should do the rest of the mask. I should do the rest of the video with the phone.
Please.
Yeah. Oh man.
I'd like to hear it from the prospective buyer's end when it comes through like that.
So what I do is, I get on, if I'm ever doing a Zoom call with a prospect, a virtual meeting, I'm going to get on the line with them and I'm going to be like, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, it's imperative that you get your Medicare started now. You don't have time.
You look like a fascist. That's crazy.
No, but these KN95 masks, apparently, I don't know, but they're the ones they use in the hospitals. And I guess they protect you and the other person. There's something about them that kind of keeps things from, I don't quite understand it, but that's what I was told. So we got some.
Actually, I think if you wore that on your head and you did a virtual call, it'd be a great icebreaker. Well, you are from
It's a bar mitzvah. Now it's a bar mitzvah. I love it. I'm in. I think one thing I keep hearing that it makes sense to me is the candle test. So regardless of what you're using to cover your face, you shouldn't be able to blow out a candle. You have a candle ready?
Some seniors can't blow out candles even if nothing's
anyway.
Emphysema, they're just like, oh.
So on another note, I got tested for COVID over the weekend.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, so that's
antibodies.
So
put your mask back on, please.
So I woke up over the weekend and I felt like really sick. And turns out I'm just a giant baby and it was just a really bad cold and I'm 100% better today. But so I went to the doctor and the doctor's like, you should get tested for COVID. You don't know. It could be any symptoms. It could be the lightest symptoms. And so I get it. I go to this like drive-in COVID testing line near my house. And there's literally, I kid you not, 125 plus cars there in this line. And they shoved the thing up my nose.
You didn't get a video or picture of that?
No, I should have.
Christian Brindle, shame on you.
I wasn't thinking. I was more freaked out about it because I was like waiting for an hour in the line with anxiety. I'm like, is this gonna hurt? Is this gonna be uncomfortable? So they stick it up my nose, and it was really freaking painful. That's the only thing I can say.
I do have one really serious question.
Okay.
Now, was this just a regular cold or was it a man cold?
It
Was it really bad?
It was a man cold.
It was a man cold. It was a little baby man cold.
It was totally a baby man cold.
You look like you look like you died and went to heaven with the way the light, you have like light coming down on you. Look like the angel form of Christian Brindle.
You need some wings back there.
Yeah, literally.
Maybe I really did get it and I died, and but I just couldn't miss Taco Tuesday. I just couldn't miss it anyway.
A special heavenly guest today. I mean, your name's Christian.
Ironically.
Yeah. So
Tony's joined us now too, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
Tony.
So we got Tony and Scotty on the line. Now you can ask them what you were wanting to know, Glenn.
Well, first and foremost, Tony, I need you to stop posting pictures of cooking because it just makes me feel worse about myself, because I watch you. First of all, I didn't know cows get that big or that you can buy meat like that. I mean, you have like a table-sized brisket. And then the other thing, I'm like, who's eating all this meat? I'm like, is Tony eating just brisket like 8 times a day? There's a lot of questions I have, Tony. I really do. But if you weren't here earlier, Tony, I was scolding you for promising me an online poker tournament that has never come to existence. So I don't know, maybe if you get locked down again in Texas, maybe then you will fulfill your promise, Tony. So that's end of rant right there. Done. Thank you.
Okay, so I have a serious question for you, Glenn.
Okay. I have a serious answer.
Well, I hope so.
Super serious.
So from now until AEP, I feel like there's a lot of agents that are just kind of kicking back and just kind of waiting for AEP. What do you think agents' marketing plans and strategies should be right now? Because there's a lot of business to be had before AEP. I mean, there's no reason why you should wait till AEP to start writing.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I think, I was talking to one of my clients this morning, and, I think the biggest opportunity right now, like, let's say you're trying to focus on selling Medicare supplements, right? You can sell MedSup year round, simplified issue underwriting. Maybe you're targeting T65, guaranteed issue, whatever it is. But, specifically with the older crowd, if you come across someone who, and I don't know, maybe it's irrelevant since open enrollment is like all year now, but, under normal circumstances, if you come across someone right now that you can't help because it's not open enrollment, and you were trying to sell them something, whether it's a final expense plan or a Medicare supplement plan, or maybe you're trying to sell them some type of supplemental policy like critical illness or dental, cancer, whatever, home health care. And then you find out that they need help with their Advantage plan, or they need help with their prescription drug plan. This is such a great time to be able to say, listen, I can't help you with that right now. We have to wait until open enrollment. That starts in just a couple months. I will be the person that will take care of you, or my agency will be the agency that helps you with this. And just really firming that up for a callback, because again, like when it comes to referrals or leads, oh my gosh, that is a monster bite. Oh man, did everyone see that? I wish I could do a slow-mo replay for everyone on Taco Tuesday. I mean, that poor Taco.
Go big or go home.
That poor
on Taco Tuesday.
But no, you're already talking to this person. You built a relationship. You're building rapport. They believe you to be an expert, right? I mean, there's kind of a takeaway to the sale too, because you're telling them that you want to help them, that you can help them, but you just can't do it right now. I would be stacking those to the moon. I would be on autopilot right now, sell whatever you want. I mean, again, I just talked to an agent today or yesterday about home health care, and he was like gunning for home health care right now. Hey, that's great. Whatever it is you want to sell, focus on it. And then I would be just stacking all of these prospects that you come across that you can't help right now, and just have as many as possible. And then, the floodgates open enrollment starts, boom. I mean, you should have enough people. And a lot of agents are doing this all year, right? There's some agents, January rolls around, they're already building that list. Okay, this is Mrs. Jones. She has this. She wants to change to this, blah, 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 whatever it is. And then again, you're just saving yourself time, energy, and money, and you're going to be 10 times more efficient down the road if you kind of process it like that. That's my opinion. But I'd love to hear, Rebecca, what's something that you're doing right now, getting ready for AEP?
Oh, I agree. You got to start prepping for AEP long before AEP starts. We started, well, me and Christian talked about this before, but we started back in May, putting some stuff into gear and, just making some initial plans, some thoughts. And then as we come into the summer, now we're really getting on to initiating them and getting things set up. I mean, I am a face-to-face agent, event agent. Everybody knows that about me. With all the grassroots and stuff. So I've really had to switch gears this year because of that. Fortunately for me, I've been doing this long enough now where I have a big enough referral base coming in. So the leads I do get coming in from other sources, actual leads, we send those all to the agents that are out in the field and let them work all leads. I don't touch an actual lead that comes in. I haven't actually for a couple of years, but I think this year is really imperative for those field agents to get those leads. We're getting on the radio this AEP, we're getting a text message blow up. I'm always big on flyers, personal flyers, plus carrier flyers. We're in Walmarts. I don't know what's going to happen with those, but we have 7 of them. We have an HEB. I think we have maybe a Kroger or a Walgreens too. I'm not even sure anymore. And then I have 30 events filed here at the office. Hopefully
Nice.
going to get on national marketing. We put in for them early enough. We've basically submitted for the office to be a resource center. And then we filed specific events around that as well. And then I have agents turning in their events as well too. Conference rooms, live. They're trying to work. It's just nobody really knows what's going to be the home run this year.
Right.
Walmart could be deader than the doornail, or it may be busier than it's ever been because it'll be really the only store you can go to.
Yeah. No, you're totally right.
During the original lockdown, I think that was the only store that
Target,
was
Walmart,
one of the few stores anyway that was open. So, it could be great.
I love the diversification of everything that you just said. Again, when I was talking about seminars and I was really beating them down, it's not that I think seminars won't work or that people aren't going to still have them or business can be done that way. It's these agents that always go all in. And even if someone who's buying leads from us, I will straight up tell agents, you need to diversify, especially, and there's a million reasons why. And one specifically that you just hit on is you don't know what's going to be hot this year. You don't know exactly how the next few months are going to play out. You don't know when Yeezy becomes president. We don't know what's going to happen after that. So I think diversification in marketing is huge.
I put a lot on the emphasis on the office this year, where normally I go out of the office more because I can control my environment here. I can make sure the office is clean. I can make sure people feel comfortable coming here. I know who's been in here, who's not. If somebody's been sick, what to do. I have a controlled environment. And I think locally, because that's who's going to come to the office, they know that. They know, for 3 months of COVID, I didn't allow a walk-in the office. We did everything on the phone. The staff was here. We were fully up and running every day, but we didn't let people come into the building until, we all knew more about what was going on.
Yeah, so you can do that again. Yeah.
We may have to. I have 3-4 different entrances to this office. If I need to, wall off partitions and have people coming in on different entrances and basically feel like they're in their own little room, we can do that. If that's what makes
bodyguards, some bouncers, keep those seniors out. You got to be careful. They're trying to sneak in. It's like a zombie apocalypse.
Who are you, sir? What is your role here? I'm Rebecca Davis's bouncer.
Yeah. Only 5 people in this building at a time, sir.
Yeah.
You're going to have to put your mask on.
I kind of wanted to piggyback on something you said, Glenn, that I really agree with on, stacking leads up for AEP, follow-ups, because I've been doing that for years. My typical AEP when it rolls around, year in and year out, I'll usually have a stack of contacts in my calendar that I need to get in touch with for people I've just talked throughout the year. One person I might have talked to in February, another I might have talked to 2 months ago. But that's just, and then that usually translates into a lot of just real easy sales right then and there, because I've already done the work throughout the year to kind of know what this person wants. I've been training a couple new agents lately, and we ran into situations where we couldn't do anything at that point in time. And I told them, I'm like, put it in your AEP calendar, because I bet you there's a chance we'll be able to do something in AEP. And it's also about, I think, just selling something. Selling something is better than selling nothing. Like I remember, during the pandemic, I had a lead order that I got, and it was kind of a dud a little bit. I didn't get too much out of it. It was a weak lead order. But what I was able to do is I was able to get four or five dental sales out of it, which I'll take. That paid for the lead order right there. Might have not have been the home run, but at least I was getting something out of it, and I wasn't just giving up on the leads. I was trying to get something out of those leads. I was trying to squeeze water out of a rock a little bit. I think that's really important. I think selling something is what matters, because the revenue is revenue.
Yeah, great. Go ahead, Rebecca.
I preach this to new agents, and me and Christian have talked about it. It doesn't matter what you sell something. Activity is activity. Any kind of activity will lead to more activity. So it doesn't matter if it's a vision plan or a dental plan or a med step or an advantage or all the above, which most people like, but anything will build especially for new agents, confidence, and kind of get them juices going, and they'll get in a groove. So what if it's $10 dental plans or vision plans, or it doesn't matter. They're going to get in that groove. They're going to build some confidence, and the vision plan will turn into a med step, or it will turn into a Medicare Advantage when the timing is right.
Yep, absolutely. So the thought that came to my head as you were talking, Christian, a second ago about this, when I first came into the industry on the life side of the business, I was a new agent. I was a dumbass, like most new agents are. And I had this thought of like accidental life insurance, which is crazy cheap and doesn't really comp as well as other types of life insurance. I had this like hard line where like I would talk bad about accidental life insurance. If I came across someone and they said, "Hey, I just want an accidental plan," I'd be like, "I'm not the person to sell that to you. I don't believe in it." And I had this like almost holier than thou about it. Like I really would. And I would talk bad about any other agents who were trying to sell accidental. I'm like, that's not going to pay out if you die from anything else. You have to slip off a roof. That's the only way it's going to pay out. But yeah, I totally have a 180 perspective on it. Just like you guys said, I mean, I sell anything. And especially if it's something they want. I mean, if someone's at, like, seriously, I'm kicking myself thinking about it now, because I remember this appointment where I'm sitting down with the husband and wife, and the husband's like, I know life insurance. I understand how it works. I just want an accidental plan. I literally walked out of the house, and I'm just like, I'm not going to sell you an accidental plan. I'm like, I'm going to sell you a plan that will pay out, a term policy or final expense policy. But yeah, I mean, now, yeah, sell them sell a $5 renter's policy, right? Like sell anything, get them on your book of business. And then now they know who you are. They know what you do. You can cross sell to them, cross market to them. You can do annual reviews. You can ask them for referrals. You can send them newsletters. I mean, there's so much value once you have that person, on your books, that, I worry about the actual ROI, and like you said, sometimes you're just going to break even. Sometimes you're going to spend money and you're not going to get that 5 to 10x that everyone's always chasing. But sometimes you might break even right away, and you can come back, you can add another policy, or they refer people to you, and you grow from there. And Rebecca, I think it seems like that's something you probably do really well with. You're talking about like grassroots marketing. That seems like that's really your mindset.
Oh, absolutely. I'll sell anything. I mean, I did just a little bit ago, we did a new to Medicare, prescription drug and a vision plan. She didn't want the dental, so we did a little division. And then the conversation went to, "Oh, are you guys a full agency?" Because I am. And I'm like, yes. And I try not to talk too much about the PNC side, because it's just a whole nother beast.
Right.
But we are. And they're like, "Well, we're buying, this $1 million property. Can you give us a quote on that too?"
There
so
you go.
never know what our conversation.
Yes, so.
especially, when you're,
we do that.
brick and mortar.
Yes.
But we did our health. Sure, I'll do your PNC too. I mean, and that's kind of why I still have the PNC, is for the people that have their health and want to keep it all under one roof.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of value in that. I totally believe. And
So Glenn, when you're telling your story about the accidental death and dismemberment, the client that you said came to mind, and you just didn't want to, you didn't believe in it, that totally brought me a flashback. So I remember my second year in the business.
Here we go.
And so I had a client. I came across a potential client, and he wanted a high deductible plan F.
You did the same thing.
I did the exact same thing, because I was just like, oh, and so my mission from that point was to talk him out of it.
Right.
I could have sold it.
Right. You could have literally,
I could have just sold
written it. You could have made money, and he would have been,
Yep. I could have sold it. And there were several carriers that we could have sold it with too, like at the time. And this was in like 2015. So high deductible plan Fs were still kind of a thing a little bit,
right.
like high deductible plan G now. I've never loved those products. I know some people really, really like them, and some people really, really swear by them. Like I did a video on YouTube about high deductible plan G right after AEP last year. I was kind of critical of it. And that video has gotten like 300 views or something like that. And I've gotten a crap ton of negative comments about it. And so I'm still learning it clearly, but, anyway, I was just trying to talk him into something else. I was like, let's get a regular F. Let's do a Medicare Advantage. Let's do this. Just trying anything I could to talk him out of it. He spent a lot of time with me. He was really patient with me. And what ended up happening with the guy is he went and bought it through someone else that just was willing to shut their mouth and give him what he wanted.
100%. And they probably stacked on a gap plan.
Probably. You have $250,000 in your savings you want to roll? Yeah, I can help you with that.
And honestly, somebody who's not afraid of a high deductible plan probably has some money saved like that.
Boom. Yep. Absolutely.
And I looking back on it, I think he did. Because I did end up going to his house. His house was like a castle. And so, looking back on it, I was not even a year in. I don't think. I think I was 8 or 9 months in at the time.
Yeah.
And I look back on it.
That sounds like less than 12 for sure. It sounds like a new experience. But hey, that's part of the game, right? I mean, you got to cut your teeth. You got to miss a lot. I mean, that was, as I became more experienced, that was kind of I would come across these same things that had happened before, and I would be like, oh, I could have written that. It could have been a carrier issue where I didn't have the right carrier. It could have been, just like we talked about, certain products kind of go well together, understanding the transitioning between products and stuff like that. And you have to understand that's part of it. I think a lot of agents beat themselves up, but yeah, it's just part of the game.
You got to learn. I mean, the only way you really learn is to do it and make some mistakes. I mean, if you did it perfect every time, you're never going to learn nothing.
Rebecca, we need a newbie story from you. We just confessed our souls. We need to hear a horror newbie story.
I've done lots what Christian's done, but only on the complete opposite end. Somebody that's on a $0 HMO, and I spend hours upon hours in their house trying to figure out how to put them on a dual plan because they were like $2 over the Medicaid limit.
Oh, geez.
And I'd be like, when I was new and not so familiar with the levels and stuff, and come to find out they were SlimB. They were actually on Medicaid. They just didn't know it, but they couldn't get a dual plan. It's been 4 hours in a home researching. Believe me, I've been there. But I'm really good at Medicaid now. Really, really good.
There you go.
Medicaid apps. So I mean, you learn from your mistakes, and you learn by doing, and you got to put the hours in. You can watch every video under the sun, and there's so many great ones out there, but until you boots on the ground, so to speak, it's just a bunch of jibber jabber until you face it head on personally.
Yep. 10,000 hours to become an expert, right?
Outliers. That is also on my bookshelf. Outliers.
You gonna try it like last time? You're gonna spend a bunch of time trying to find it, but be like,
last week I spent a ton of time last week trying to find this book. I couldn't find
You
it.
look like you had lost a dog or something. You're like, "Where's my puppy?" That was
Okay, but
hilarious.
hang on, the alarm's going off.
Uh-oh.
What does that mean?
It's a Taco Tuesday emergency. Good thing. Thank goodness he turned off his audio too. So any listeners don't go deaf.
Is that
here.
like the baby alarm?
That's his baby man cold alarm. His man cold's coming back. That's what that is. Exactly what that is.
So everybody thought nobody knew I was here. So they left and put the alarm on.
Oh, the office alarm.
Yeah, and then the office
You're like, time
alarm's
to go home.
I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I was telling Rebecca, I thought it was your baby man cold alarm. Like it's
I
bad.
thought maybe it was like the baby monitor alarm. I wasn't thinking.
No. I'm not at home. I'm at the office, so that I wouldn't even know about that. Thankfully, I would never get any work done.
Yeah. Well, we're approaching an hour, and I feel like this is a good kind of time structure to wrap up. Any final thoughts, Rebecca, on Taco Tuesday or anything we discussed or anything upcoming that you want to share before we hop off?
You know, everybody just needs to concentrate on what they think is going to work this AP. Nobody really knows, but I definitely diversify. I think that's definitely the key.
Absolutely.
And you know, when you have green carriers, don't blast them on.
Don't do what Christian Brindle does. Great advice. Rebecca
Um,
Davis has a Facebook group called Medicareville, you guys.
Yes.
If you're not in that group, check it out. She shares some really great grassroots marketing tips as well as breaking news from the carriers like we saw today. She was the first one to post. So mazel tov.
You're the first one to retract.
First one to post, first one to retract.
So the other thing I wanted to mention is if you're not in Glenn's group, you should be. Glenn's got a really, really good group as well. He's had some great interviews in his group, guys. So, Glenn, remind me the name of your group. Isn't it like selling to seniors? What is it again?
Glenn Shelton is awesome is the name of it. Just search Glenn Shelton's on there. It's
Glenn
how
Shelton.
to market and sell insurance to seniors.
That
was
was
the name of the group. Yes.
Yes. And
Check it out, you guys.
it's a good group. It's a good community. Pretty big group, actually.
It is pretty big. We're trying to get some more engagement going. So feel free, jump in, share, you guys. Help me out. Help me out. We need more engagement.
And of course, we have the six-figure millionaire. Six-figure, is that what it is? Millionaire now, right? Six-figure millionaire.
Millionaire matchmaker, Christian Brindle.
Yeah. Getting there. Not quite there yet, but the matchmaker.
Well, I put it out there, so now it shall be.
It won't be too long though. As soon as I'm able to accurately change the name to 7-figure Medicare Agent, I will. That's the
There
goal.
you go. I like that. You graduate. Yeah, the group graduates with you. I like that.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for being here. I thought this was really good. My final thought I would say would be, to kind of put a cherry on top of what we were talking about before about, like for at least for me and Glenn, not trying to talk someone out of something that they're ready to buy. Sometimes it's not a bad thing to be an order taker.
Yeah, exactly.
If they know what they want, give it to them.
Yes. Yep. Shut your mouth and sell. The one thing that I would bring back up from the conversation today that I think a lot of agents do kind of step over, they're not thinking about, is build your list. Start creating a list of people you're talking to. It could be your neighbors. It could be a lead. It could be anybody. If Medicare comes up or they find out what you do and you realize it's someone that you could help during open enrollment, build your list now and then attack that list as soon as you can. I think that's a no-brainer.
Yep, I agree.
Cool. All right. Well, till next Tuesday, you guys, part 5 coming up next Tuesday. Rebecca, thanks for coming on with us. Hope you guys enjoyed
Me.
watching us stuff our faces with tacos. Diablo sauce. I wanted to show this too. This is what the men. You probably have like you probably found like something more mild than mild for your
pass that to Christian right now. That would be really an awesome trick.
Go through the
Christian.
You all of a sudden just pull it like, wow.
I wish I had a packet here with me because then I could have just looked like I was pulling.
I thought you were gonna do it. But
I didn't have it. I let you down.
Total letdown. All right, you guys. We'll see you next Tuesday. Stay safe and happy selling.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.